Hi everyone, and welcome back to Fully Playable Games. So on today's video, we are going to be doing another YouTube pays. Is that what we're going to call this? I don't know. But I had a really good couple of months, and sort of thank you to all of you for watching and supporting the videos, because we actually got a really good payout at the end of April. So yes, we are basically going to go out again. We're going to do charity shops and CEX, and yes, but we are not doing my normal charity shops and CEX because we've actually come a bit further afield, and technically to my old stomping ground. So today we are going to be going around Dartford, and yeah, I grew up not far from here. So when I was younger, I spent quite a bit of time going around Dartford town centre, either with my mum and dad, or as I got a bit older with friends. And yeah, I've been so excited to do this trip because yeah, I just haven't been up here. It's been about, I think I worked out, it's probably about 16 years since I was last up here. So yeah, really excited with that. But as well as that, and I'm just going to unlock my phone because I can give you the figures for today. So I have been a bit busy with this one. So we've got £11.55 left over from the last video. That includes a £5 voucher at CEX. I then done a trek out to CEX in Maidstone the other day. And you see there, I had a bag full of games and took them in and traded them in for a voucher ahead of coming down here. So for that I got £153.20. Then I have also got another bag with me today. I've got the Mega Drive that we picked up from Swanley a couple of weeks ago. I've got a DS Lite that I found while I was sorting through all my games, and then I've got another load of games as well. So from what I've looked, that has got a value of £148. And then we've also got the YouTube payout, which for last month, or the last 2 months, was £96.31. So as long as CEX take everything that we've got in the back, we'll have a total spend of £409.06. But what I am thinking of doing is I'm actually thinking about splitting that in half, because there is a game that I want that is, I mean, it's one of the top 2 games that I want for this year for the collection. It is expensive. It's an over £200 game, but I just really want it for the collection. So what I'm probably going to do is, that game isn't in the store that we're about to go to, so I might look to order that online. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the stuff into CEX first, make sure that they accept it all, and then I will yeah, give you a bit of an update once we've done that as to how much we've got to spend. But yeah, what I'm thinking is that I'm going to take the £200 out, buy the game from CEX. It's coming from CEX, but yeah, I think that's a good way to add some of the high value games to the collection. So yeah, also today as well, we are out with Nicky. We've got a bit of company today. So Nicky has actually started collecting as well. He's actually sold off a lot of his Pokemon stuff, but has replaced it with video games. So he's got quite a good little collection coming along. He's got what, Master System, PS3, PS2, what else has he got? I can't remember the other bits, but I'm sure he's going to watch this video as well, so he'll leave a comment down below. But yeah, he's going to be doing some game hunting with me as well. He's got a load of stuff as well in the back that he's picked up from recent boot fairs, so he's going to be chopping that into CEX as well. So yeah, it should be a really good day. So I'm going to go and get ready. We'll get out, and then yeah, we'll see what we can find. So that is going to wrap up our trip out and about. Yeah, I will admit I am actually really happy with how it turned out today. Obviously we've done 2 separate CEXs in today's video. So we obviously started off in Dartford, and then we went over to Gravesend. The reason I was doing that initially was because CEX in Dartford didn't have the ability to test the Mega Drive. Because it only had the standard sort of RF cable on it, they couldn't test it. So yeah, we were going to head over to Dartford, but actually on the way over to Dartford, Nikki basically offered to give me the voucher price for the Mega Drive. So yeah, basically we've done that, and yeah, so yeah, we've done really well actually. I'm really happy with the bits we picked up. So I haven't actually edited the video yet, so I don't know whereabouts we got to. But the trade-in price that I got, including the £35 I got off Nikki for the Mega Drive, we got £146. So that meant we had a total budget of £407 and 6p. So yeah, a ample amount. And I will admit, we have, what have we left over? £18 and 11p left over. So yeah, we spent a fair amount, and I will admit I did buy that big value game. So I'm gonna actually got it here. I haven't even opened it yet. It's been here a couple of days, so I want to get into it, want to have a look at it. But yeah, really looking forward to getting to that. But let's have a look at the other bits that we got. So to start off, we actually went into one of the charity shops. Basically what we done was we got into Dartford, we went to CEX, done the trade-ins, and then went out into the charity shops after getting a cheeky Mackie D's breakfast. But yeah, the first charity shop we went into was is it Mary Curie? Is that how you pronounce it? Mary Q? I don't know. Whatever one that is. And then yeah, we went in, and as we were walking through the shop, I literally over to one side I saw a PS3 Slim. So went over, had a look, and had a tag of £30 on it with all the cables. So I was like, yeah, do you know what, that's not a bad price. Looked it up, it traded in for about 70 quid at CEX if I wanted to trade it in there and then. But when I got to the counter, they didn't have the genuine PS3 controller. It was an aftermarket controller, which massively reduced the price. I've got loads of the controllers here, but I wasn't planning on bringing it back. I was going to actually just trade it in there and then. So I ended up leaving it, but what I did do is they had 2 games there as well. Nikki took one, and I took the other. So, and that game is WWE SmackDown vs Raw 2010. And yeah, when I looked on my app, this wasn't listed on there, so yeah, I decided to pick it up. As you can see, paid £2 for it. Well, you probably can't, because you're probably looking at the... No, you won't be looking at the gameplay, because it's a wrestling game and that's against the rules of the channel. So yeah, it says £2 on it just there. So paid £2 for it. Goes for £3 at CEX and £5 on eBay. Then the next pickup I didn't actually get footage for, because the shop that we got it from, it was very cramped. I didn't really want to be walking around with the sort of backpack on my shoulders, swinging around and doing damage. And this was actually a dedicated comic and trading card shop. The shop was called Newsstand Comics. And yeah, right up the back they had a load of they were like boxed Mega Drive games and everything like that. But in the counter right at the front of the shop, they had stacks of N64 carts. And as I was looking through, I saw one cart there, and I was like, I looked at the price. Then when we left the shop, I looked it up at what it was selling online, and I was like, for the price that they were charging, it was a no-brainer to pick it up. And that game, as I say, it is cart only, but it is Hook. And yeah, the cart itself is in absolutely impeccable condition. And I just thought, you know what, for what they were charging, I'm just going to grab it. And yeah, literally on the end of it, it had a sticker for £7. So yeah, really happy with that. Looking it up online, CEX charge £10 cart only, and on eBay it goes for about £15. So yeah, nearly half the price, or more than half the price actually, of the eBay version, which is really good. Then we move into the CEX pickups. So the first load that we've got here are going to be the ones that I picked up from Dartford. And then, as I say, we'll transition. I did get a couple of pickups in the Gravesend store as well. And then we'll look at them before we open this box and have a look at the heavy hitter that I've got for the collection. So the first one that we've got is actually one that I've had on my eBay wish list for a couple of months now. And that is Resident Evil Mercenaries on the 3DS. And yeah, as soon as I saw it there, I grabbed it because, as I say, it had been on my eBay wish list for a while, and I'd just been looking for cheap versions that were coming along. But yeah, I saw this one. The case was in really good condition. It was complete. It had the manual, and yeah, really glad to actually get this one in the collection. It's another Resident Evil title that I didn't have. You will notice as well, I've got no gameplay footage for this. I said this in, I think it was a couple of videos ago. Might have been the last video or a couple of videos ago. But I'm going to stop capturing 3DS footage for now, just because all of the software that I try on my PC for emulating the 3DS games just runs absolutely atrocious. And I've not found one that actually runs the games properly. So until I can get a 3DS that I can modify, I'm going to sort of just hold off on doing gameplay footage for now. But yeah, one of the games I am really looking forward to playing this. So we paid £10 for it. Obviously, I'm not going to list all the CEX prices because we're paying what they charge. But this goes for about £15 on eBay. So yeah, really happy to have that one. Then next up, we've got a couple of Wii U titles. So as you know, I am trying to push to get a full Wii U set. It's sort of a sub-project after the GameCube. So the first one that we've got is Rayman Legends. Yeah, I will admit, capturing the footage for this, I really enjoyed playing this, and I actually thought the graphics looked really, really good. I think I've played it briefly on other platforms, and didn't think it looked as good as it did on the Wii U. I might be wrong, but yeah, I've definitely played the odd Rayman game here and there. But yeah, I will admit, I was really impressed with that, and I played a good sort of 2-3 levels on it. So yeah, thoroughly enjoyed that. That one, we paid £5 for it, and it goes for about £9 on eBay. What I will also add as well is all of the games that we've picked up from CEX are all box and manual. So I've done with CEX, I don't pick up anything that doesn't have the manual. So yeah, if I'm not saying that they're complete or anything, that's because everything's complete. And actually the SmackDown versus Raw was complete as well. So the only thing that we've got today that's not complete was the Hook cart only. And then the next Wii U game is Batman Arkham City Armoured Edition. Now, I know I've played this. I had a look through all of my footage, and I couldn't find what console it is I played it on. But I know I've definitely played it because I remember the sort of the beginning of it. But I will admit, I actually quite enjoyed playing this on the Wii U. This is one of those games that actually does lend itself really well to the gamepad. So yeah, really enjoyed that. Definitely was a different take from the other version that I've played. So that one we paid £4 for it. It goes for about £8 on eBay. Then next up, as I said, we are looking to get a full GameCube set. So I had to pick up some GameCube games. And the first one that we've got is R Racing. What I didn't realise when I first picked this up was that it was dual disc. And actually the other game that it has is Pac-Man Versus. Now I haven't been able to capture footage or play it because you need the Game Boy Advance and the connection cable. So yeah, because I've obviously got the Game Boy Advance now, but I don't have the connection cable, so yeah, wasn't able to try that. But what I will admit, R-Racing I really enjoyed. So basically you play, the character you play is a, she starts off as a ambulance driver, and then after a particular ambulance run, she does it really quick, and her sort of someone else that's in the ambulance, don't know whether it was her co-driver or someone that was with the person that were trying to get to a hospital, basically invites her to take part in a race. And yeah, basically it's you building her career as a race driver. I will admit, as you're playing it, it feels very much like Nintendo's version of Gran Turismo. But I will say it was a really good driving game, and one that I'm definitely going to be going back to. And it's nice to have something like this on the GameCube, because I think we've got a couple of driving games. We've got things like Burnout, Need for Speed and everything like that, but this one is definitely more of the sort of simulation type game. So yeah, really enjoyed that one. So paid £12 for that. Looking it up online, the only ones that I could see with the Pac-Man disc was selling for about £45. So yeah, I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure whether I wasn't seeing the right listings, or if CES have massively, or CEX, sorry, CEX have massively undervalued this one. So yeah, really happy to have that one. And yeah, it's another GameCube game ticked off, which is great. Then next up, wait there. Oh, this is. There we go. So next up we've got a Master System game. So one of the things that happened when we done the big sort out of the main bookcase just behind the camera was that the Master System essentially got its own shelf. It shares itself. I'll get there in a minute. It shares its shelf with the 32X games. So yeah, there was actually a bit of space. So I did want to pick up a couple more box Master System games. And this was one that I'd actually been looking at for a while. And that is Super Smash TV. So yeah, I've seen a couple of people talk about this. More the NES version. But yeah, it was an interesting one. I will admit it was a bit interesting when I first started playing it. Because I didn't realise that both the face buttons allowed you to fire in different directions. So I'm pressing one of the face buttons, wondering why the character keeps changing direction. And that's because one button allows you to shoot left, one button allows you to shoot right. So yeah, once I realised that, it then became a lot easier to play. But yeah, really happy to have that one. So that one, we paid £10 for it. Looking it up online, it goes for £15. What I will say with this is I probably will look to get hold of the NES version at some point. Because from what I've seen, I think the graphics are a bit better on the NES version. So I'll be interested to get that and then compare them. Then staying with Sega, we have got a Mega Drive game. And this is a game that I've wanted to play this ever since my Mega Drive was my main console. I just never got a chance to play it. And it's one that I've been keeping my eye out for as we've been out at sort of boot fairs, or I've been to pick up games from people that I know. And that is Road Rash 2. So yeah, I think, if I remember rightly, I think we've got the third one, or the first one, I don't know. I'm pretty sure we've got another Road Rash game. I know that I have got one on, is it the PS4, I think it's called? But that is completely different. It is, if it's got any links to this game at all, it really does it a disservice, because it wasn't a great game. But yeah, this one, absolutely loved it. It fully lived up to all of my expectations. So yeah, when I saw that they had it in Dartford, it was one of the ones that I immediately said I was going to buy. And I will admit, what I do like about how Dartford have got their games set up is they stack them all spine out. and then what they do is they stick the price tags on the spines, where as in Maidstone they've actually got some of them displayed, so you'll be seeing like the main cover art, but they also have games in front, like 2 or 3 games in front of it, and it makes it really difficult to see whether it's got manual or it hasn't. And then the ones that they do put spine out, the stickers are still on the front, so you can't see whether the game's got a manual, you can't see the price, and it is just a pain. But I will admit, one thing I did like about the guy that I dealt with in Dartford is he didn't expect me to rob the store blind. And what I mean by that is that what I found recently is if you ask to see something from behind the counter, the staff are overly protective, I think. Now, don't get me wrong, there are people that are going to try and sort of swipe a game, especially something that's high value. But I've had staff before that wouldn't even let me touch the game until I paid for it. Now, for someone like me, I want to know whether it's got a manual. I want to see the condition of the disc. I want to look at it before I buy it. But I will admit, the guy in Dartford was great. As he put the games down on the side as he was. I was just like, "Do you mind if I have a look?" He's like, "Yeah, no problems." And I think I actually said to him, actually, it's really refreshing the fact that he didn't think I was just going to leg it out the store. And he's like, "No, it's not a problem." But yeah, I will admit, I was really impressed with the Dartford store. The staff in there were really good, and they were really good to talk to, actually. And yeah, I was even sort of talking to them about different things about CEX, and they were sort of coming back with some good suggestions. One of the big things I was saying to them was about PS1 games don't scan into the app. And what the guy was explaining to me was, yeah, the PS1 sort of predates the sort of the website and things like that, so they don't actually have the barcodes in the system. So he said if you're looking for PS1 games, you need to type them in, and that's the only way that they'll come up. So that was a really good tip. But yeah, back to the games. So for Road Rash, we paid £15 for that. Looking it up online, it goes for about £20 in complete condition on eBay. Then next up, we're going to move on to the PS4. So I managed to pick up 2 games for the PS4. The first one is a game that I played it mostly on PC and think it's absolutely brilliant, and that is Prison Architect. So this is an absolutely amazing game. As I say, I've played it quite a bit on the PC, but yeah, when I saw it there, I was like, do you know what? I'll actually get it, because I was capturing footage for another game, and I can't remember what game it was. I know it was on the Xbox One. That was it, The Escapists. And yeah, as I was playing it, it just reminded me of Prison Architect. And actually playing this, the art styles are completely different. But yeah, but just for some reason, it just really reminded me of it. I think because it's based in a prison, probably. So yeah, when I saw it there, I was like, you know what, I'm going to grab it, pick it up, and give it a go. As I say, it was completely different playing it with the controller compared to the mouse. But what I'm finding is a lot of these games that are coming out, especially at the moment, that are very centered around, that were basically designed for PC. The transition to consoles isn't actually being too jarring. Sort of, if you go back to something like the Mega Drive, I think Theme Park's a good example. It's not as intuitive playing it with a controller, but these ones, they just seem to work so much better now. I don't know why, whether it's the fact that you're using an analog stick instead of a D-pad or what it is, but definitely think on like the Xbox One, PS4 and that, yeah, these mouse-centric games just seem to be working a lot better, and they seem to be really well designed. So for Prison Architect, we paid £6 for it. Looking it up online, it goes for about £11 on eBay. Then, right, so this next one, I made a monumental mistake, and I'm absolutely gutted. And that is Subnautica Below Zero. Now, I have been desperate to play Subnautica. I've watched people play it. I've watched YouTube videos of people playing it. It tends to be one of the sort of videos that I will put on in the background as I'm sort of working, editing, or anything like that. And yeah, I've been desperate to play it. Really been wanting to play it. So when I went into CEX, it was one of the ones that was on my list. If I had it there, I was going to pick it up. And as I was looking through the PS4, I saw Subnautica Below Zero. And then a couple of games down, I saw the standard Subnautica. And they were both priced at £18. So I thought, well, why would I pay £18 for the original version when I could get the original version with the DLC? Yeah, you see where I'm going with this. For the same price. So yeah, I ended up, I grabbed this one, and it was only when I got home that I was a bit like, I'm just going to check. And I looked it up, and I was like, what's the difference between Subnautica and Subnautica Zero Below? And that is when the penny dropped. They are both standalone games. So I was gutted, because yeah, this one, it does have a lot of stuff where you're on land, and yeah, it wasn't the game I wanted to play. So yeah, what I ended up doing is I have ordered a copy of Subnautica. I'm just waiting for it to be delivered. I ended up ordering it through eBay because I managed to get it a bit cheaper than what CEX were charging for it. And plus, I would have had to have paid the £2.95 on top as well. But I have played this. I ended up, I think I was capturing the footage for this last night. And I ended up playing it for a good sort of 2.5 hours. So long actually that it half killed me getting up this morning to go to work. But that's a separate matter. But yeah, I will admit, what I have played of it, it is a really good game, and it's definitely one I'm going to go back to because I want to see where they go with the story. So yeah, for this one we paid £18 for it. And actually it is the same price across the board, £18 at both CEX and on eBay. But yeah, it's a nice one to have in the collection. As I say, it is one that I'm going to go back to. I want to see where they take the story. Then next up, we've got our last two pickups from Dartford, and these two pickups were actually the reason that I wanted to go to the Dartford store, because they were both on my CEX wish list. And I saw that they were both in stock in Dartford, so that's why I went there, and these were the main two that I wanted to pick up. I will say one of them I didn't actually get it on the day, and I'll explain that when we get to it. But the first one that we got, and this one did come from the store, is Dead or Alive Extreme 2. And the reason why I really wanted to be getting this, or reason why I wanted to get this, was because we've currently got Dead or Alive Extreme Beach Volleyball on the original Xbox. We've then also got 2 copies of Extreme 3. We've got, is it Fortune and Scarlet? So we've got Fortune on the PS4, and Scarlet on the Nintendo Switch. So I wanted to get this one, because this was the only one that we were missing out of the set. So I'm actually going to go through in the next couple of weeks and actually have a look through all of my Dead or Alive games, just to see. I think across all the platforms I might have a complete set of Dead or Alive games, so I'm going to check. But yeah, really wanted to pick this up. And what I will admit, I was really surprised at this, because I'd say out of all 3 games, this is the most developed, probably the best way to put it. It's got the most amount of things to do, and yeah, I think some of the things that they've taken out of this, and that weren't in Dead or Alive 3, or sorry, Extreme 3, were really surprising. So in this one, one of the activities you can do is jet ski racing, and that isn't in the 3rd game. I think in the 3rd game they've replaced it. I haven't spent ages playing this. I've probably just played through the tutorial levels, but yeah, this one I don't think has the rock climbing, whereas the 3rd one does. But in my eyes, I would rather have had the jet skis than the rock climbing, if that makes sense. So yeah, the jet skis really felt like Wave Race. Really well made, and yeah, you've got the sort of the big red and yellow buoys with the arrows pointing each way. So yeah, I was really surprised that they took that out. As I say, I didn't know that they had jet skis in it. I will admit, I was looking at the cover sort of just while I was waiting for the game to load, and I was like, oh, have they got jet skis in it? It's a bit strange that they'd have it on the cover and not in the game. But yeah, they do. And yeah, it was something that they didn't put into the third one, which was a real surprise. So yeah, really glad to have that one in the collection. I'm really happy now to actually have the complete set. I think the only one that I'm missing is there is a variant of the third game which only come out on the Vita. I think that one's different to both the PS4 and from Fortune and Scarlet. So yeah, I might look at getting that in the future, but I'm not massively concerned because, as I say, I have got the 2 copies on the PS4 and the Switch. But yeah, really happy to have that. That is one that I have been looking for quite a while, and every time I look at it on eBay, it just ends up being a bit more than I want to pay at the time. So for Dead or Alive, paid £18 for that. Looking it up on eBay, it goes for about £40. So yeah, quite a stark difference there. And actually the next game as well is another one where there's a big difference between CEX and eBay pricing. But yeah, this next one, so as I was at the tills paying for everything in Dartford, the guy turned around and said, oh, is there anything else I can help you with? And I'm like, there is, but I can't remember what. I knew that there was another game that I wanted to pick up, and it was only once I got home and I was going through my CEX wish list and removing the games that I'd sort of picked up recently, and then I saw it sitting there. I was like, oh, that was what I wanted to get. So instead of trekking back to Dartford, I did order it online. But what I have done is I haven't included the shipping for this game in the figures. So the price that we've got here is just the game price if it was picked up in the shop. And that is Saw 2 Flesh and Blood on the Xbox 360. So this is a game that I've been wanting for so long. I think over the last sort of six to 8 months, we picked up both the original Saw games on Xbox 360 and PS3. But obviously there was a sort of lesser appreciated sequel. I will admit I have played, I think, probably about 10 or 15 minutes of this so far, and I'll be honest, I don't know what I'm going to be able to show on for the gameplay of this, because it is quite extreme. Now, when I say that, I can normally take things quite sort of as they come. But yeah, even for me, I was a bit like, as soon as you start the game, your very first challenge is to basically cut a key out from under your eye. Now, I will admit, I don't deal with eyes. I can't stand sort of people touching their eyes or anything like that. It just yeah, freaks me out. So yeah, with this, you were having to sort of get a scalpel and cut underneath your eye because there's been a key put behind the skin, sort of just under your eye, and I'm like, wow. So, and then yeah, it sort of progresses through different challenges and that. As I say, I've only played about 10 or 15 minutes of it, but yeah, this one definitely looks to be a bit more extreme than the first one. But I know a lot of people didn't like it. It wasn't as popular as the first one, and yeah, a lot of people really don't like it at all. So yeah, I wanted to get it because I did want to complete the set on at least one platform. The big difference is this is the Xbox 360 version is actually the cheaper version out of the two. The PS3 version is a lot more expensive. So yeah, glad to at least have a copy of it, and yeah, that will get put pride of place in the Xbox collection. So from CEX, they charged £25 for that. It did come with the manual, which I was so relieved about. It actually arrived today, the day that I'm filming, and yeah, all day, like, I knew it had arrived this morning, and all day I'm sitting in the office and I'm just waiting to get home just to see if it did come with the manual. because with the 360 games, CEX doesn't tell you if it's with or without manual, it's just the game. So yeah, really happy to have that. As I say, paid £25 for it. Another one that goes for £40 on eBay. So yeah, really happy to have that in the collection. And yeah, they're only going one way, the Xbox 360 games, so glad to have it now. Okay, so moving on, we've then got the remaining pickups all come from Gravesend. Now I only got 3 pickups from Gravesend, but I think they're actually really good pickups. This first one did cause a bit of problem though. So that is Super Mario 3D World on the Wii U. So I picked these up. So I actually I went out and recorded this video. So you'll see it on the Friday. It was basically a week yesterday. And I didn't actually sit down to capture any of the gameplay footage until the Tuesday before the video went up. So yeah, one of the big problems with Wii U is that it is atrocious for disc rot. And when I say it's atrocious, it is that you will look at the disc will look pristine, but then you'll put it in and the Wii will just say, don't recognise the disc. And that's exactly what happened with this. So what I was lucky enough to do is I checked the stock of the Maidstone store and they had one in stock. So I swung in there after work today, and yeah, they were happy just to swap it. As I say, they looked at the disc looked pristine. It was such a good condition disc, but as I say, the disc rot just completely destroyed it. But yeah, luckily I was able to get a replacement disc. This one worked without a problem. Literally got home, set my Wii U up, put the disc in, and it just worked straight away, which was absolutely amazing. So yeah, we paid £6 for that. Looking it up online, it goes for about £9 on eBay. Then picked up another GameCube game. Once again, and this was one actually that I have been wanting to pick up for a while, and that is PN03. So yeah, I've seen countless people talk about this as a hidden gem on the GameCube, and I have to say I thoroughly enjoyed playing this. It was really good. So it is a sort of 3D style shooter is probably the best way to do it. You play the character of PN03, and the idea is, especially for the first level, you're working your way through this base to get to the goal. I'll be honest, I wasn't following the story 100% when I was doing the gameplay for this, so it's definitely one that I'm going to have to go back to and revisit. But from what I actually played of it, it was an absolutely amazing game. Really enjoyed playing it, and definitely one that I'm going to be going back to and playing in a bit more detail. So for that one we paid £20 for that one. Sorry, I'm looking at the next one. £20 for that one. Looking it up online, it goes for £40 on eBay. So another really good buy from CEX. Their prices are definitely coming through on the low side. That is why CEX lost our CEX versus eBay video a couple of weeks ago. If you haven't seen that, I'll stick a link up in one of the corners. And yeah, basically what I've done was I got a whole bag of my doubles and literally scanned them all into both CEX and eBay to see who was the winner. And yeah, I think for some reason I thought CEX would win it before I started. But then as I was sort of doing it, I was like, well, no, not really, because CEX is coming out cheaper on quite a few consoles recently. So yeah, in my eyes, I'm more than happy for CEX to have lost that round, or lost that match, because it just means then that when we are picking games up from CEX, they're cheaper. And yeah, we can't say any more than that. Okay, so the last game that we picked up from Gravesend, and this will be the last game before we get on to the Holy Grail. And this was another one that I've been wanting to pick up physically for a while. And it is a PS4 game. And I have got this digitally because it did come on PS Plus a little while ago. And that is the BioShock collection. So yeah, I absolutely love the BioShock games. I've played through 1 and 2, completed them on PS3. Played them both when they were initially released on the PS3. Bioshock Infinite, I've played briefly. I haven't put a lot of time into it, just because by the time I actually got it, I think I only got my first copy of Bioshock Infinite. I only picked up from one of the boot fairs within the last couple of years. And yeah, just haven't had the time to sit down and play it yet. But it is one that I want to go through. Now I've got this game, now I've got this physically, it's probably going to encourage me a bit more to sort of spend the time and actually play through it. And what I might look to do is I might look to start at 1, play all the way through to Infinite. But yeah, really chuffed with this. And actually, it's completely different to how I expected. I was expecting a sort of singular case, just like a normal game. Didn't actually know that it was a double game case. So the way they've got it set up is the first disc has Bioshock 1 and 2 on it, and then the third disc has Bioshock Infinite on it. Oh, sorry, the second disc has Bioshock Infinite on it. But yeah, really happy with that. CEX and Gravesend had 2 copies of it. So yeah, I'm really chuffed to finally have that in the collection. It's been one that I've been wanting to add for a while, and yeah, really glad now. So paid £18 for that. This actually is the only game today where CEX has lost to eBay, because it goes for on average about £17 on eBay. So yeah, eBay slightly cheaper than CEX on that one, but for the £1 difference, I'm not fussed. And yeah, just really happy to have it. Okay, so now we get to the big one. We have got the pickup. And this is a game that I have been dying to get into the collection. I knew it was one that I was going to have to just bite the bullet and buy, because it wasn't going to be one that I was going to find at a boot fair. Now I've said that, I'm probably going to see it at a boot fair next weekend. But yeah, it was one that I have been dying to get hold of. And as I say, this is a heavy hitter. It is a game that I wouldn't, to be quite honest, I think if I'd bought this normally with my own money, the wife would have probably murdered me once she found out. I don't think I've ever told her how much I paid for Conker's Bad Fur Day, so that's why I'm still breathing. But let's get this one opened, because, as I say, I have been dying to get into this one. As I say, I haven't even opened it since it arrived. Let me get me knife. But yeah, I haven't even let slip yet what console it is. I think I've done quite well with not letting it slip. There we go. Right, I'm going to chuck the invoice off to the side. Chuck the first bit of padding off. The second bit of padding. Oh, it's nice and clean. Okay, so let me slowly reveal it. So I'm hoping you can see it's a Game Boy, a GameCube game, and it is Pokemon Gale of Darkness. I am absolutely over the moon to have this. So I cannot get over how pristine it is. So it is complete. I made sure I got the copy with the manual. Yeah, the disc is great. I am so happy to have this. This has been one of the games that I have just dreamed about having on the GameCube. But as I say, just the cost of it is, yeah, it's just prohibitive. It really is. But the way that I looked at it is that the vouchers that I got for this, that I paid for this with, it was essentially free. It was games that I just had sitting about. I weren't actually going to do anything with them. So I was like, do you know what? I'm not going to have this sort of money that I can just spend without any guilt. So I was like, no, I'm going to grab a real heavy hitter for the collection. And yeah, I'm just over the moon to have this in the collection. It is amazing. But I will say it's not without its drama, because I will admit I was extremely miffed with CEX about this. So the list price on this at CEX with manual is £210. And as I say, none of my local stores had this. So it was one that I had to order online. And so went through, ordered it, got to the checkout, and they then had the cheek, the absolute cheek, to chuck on £2.95 delivery. I'm like, I'm spending £210 on a game and you want to charge me an extra £2 to deliver it? I couldn't believe that. I really couldn't. I know at one point, I know that they changed, I will admit, now thinking about it, I do know that they changed their postage policy, but at one point, anything over £100 had free delivery. And I'm just a bit like, you know what, it is a bit of a Mickey take when they've essentially made, I think voucher price for this was something around £150, 150 to 160. So they've made at least 50 quid off this. And I'm just thinking, like, for that, you could have at least sort of chucked in a bit of free postage. Someone's paying this much for a game. So yeah, I was a bit miffed about that, I will add. And yes, that is me being cheap, but I don't care. I can have my rant about CEX charging me £2.95 on a £210 game. So yes, so total paid for that was £212.95. But if I was to pick it up in eBay in the same sort of condition, I'd be looking at £275. So even with the postage charge, that's still a massive, massive saving of sort of over 60 quid. And as I say, I am just over the moon to have that in the collection. And it's definitely one, as I say, because I've literally just opened it, I haven't had a chance to capture footage for it. So that is one that is going to be literally the first thing I'm going to do as soon as I finish filming. But with that said, that is going to wrap up the video. So that's all of the bits that I picked up. But before we wrap up, let's quickly run through the totals. So our total spend today was £388.95. If we'd picked up everything from CEX, obviously that's including Hook and WWE, it would have been a total price of £390. I don't know why there's only £2 difference. Don't know. Not worrying. But then if we picked everything up from eBay, it would have been £582. So yeah, even just CEX compared to eBay, a massive, massive saving. And yeah, but that is going to wrap it up for today. But before you head off, if you did enjoy the video, don't forget to hit that like button. And if you're not already, smash that subscribe button and ring the bell to be kept up to date when I upload new videos. And yeah, with that said, thank you so much for watching today. Really hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you on the next one. All right, bye.